Ever walked out of a meeting thinking, what just happened? You tried to make a point, but nobody listened. You got cut off. Or worse, someone else said exactly what you were thinking, and they got the credit. Frustrating, right? Here's the brutal truth. Being good at talking isn't the same as being a great communicator. But today, we're fixing that. I'll show you how to unlock Charles Duhigg's Super-Communicator framework. 5 techniques to transform any conversation from awkward and ineffective to powerful and persuasive. And stick around, because at the end, I'll share the secret 1% edge that top performers use to dominate any interaction. Ready? Let's go. Picture this. You're in a high-stakes conversation, a job interview, a deal negotiation, or even just a meeting where you need to make an impact. But instead of controlling the room, you feel lost. Your points don't land. The conversation slips away. Why? Because most people don't actually understand how communication works. They focus on talking. But great communicators, they focus on alignment. They know exactly what kind of conversation they're in. They listen differently. They ask sharper questions. And because of that, they win more conversations, more often. Duhigg calls these people super-communicators. They are the ones who make every word count. And today, I'm going to show you how to become one. Let's break down the 5-step process. Step 1, identify the type of conversation. Most people jump into a conversation without thinking. Big mistake. They assume all conversations work the same way, but they don't. And that's why so many interactions go wrong before they even start. There are 3 types of conversation: practical, focused on solving a problem; emotional, centered on feelings and validation; social, about strengthening relationships and shared experiences. If you mismatch the type, you create instant friction. That's when conversations feel forced, awkward, or frustrating. And worse, it creates resistance, turning what could have been an easy, natural exchange into something tense and unproductive. Let's dive deeper and look at examples. 1. Practical conversations. These are task-oriented and revolve around solutions. The key here is efficiency, getting to the point, removing roadblocks, and focusing on action. For example, let's say you're in a meeting discussing how to fix a supply chain delay. If you start venting about how stressful it is, you've derailed the conversation. The goal here is to solve the issue, not to express frustration. Super communicators, they recognize the situation and keep discussions on track by asking, what's the next step? Or what resources do we need to fix this? 2. Emotional conversations. These are about feelings, not solutions. The mistake people make, offering advice when the other person just wants to be heard. A friend says, I feel completely burned out at work. You respond, have you tried setting boundaries? Thinking you're being helpful. But what they really needed was for you to say, that sounds really tough. Tell me what's happening. Super communicators pick up on emotional cues and validate first, before jumping in with advice. 3. Social conversations. These exist to build connections. No agenda, no problem solving, just reinforcing relationships through shared experiences. For example, you're at a team dinner and someone tells a funny story. If you immediately shift the conversation to work, you've broken the social flow. The goal here is to engage and relate, not to be overly efficient. Super communicators recognize this and lean into the moment. They add to the conversation instead of redirecting it. Identifying the type of conversation you're in before you respond is the first major step toward mastering communication. Step 2, master active listening. Here's a harsh truth. Most people don't listen. They just wait for their turn to talk. And in doing so, they miss what's really being said. Not just the words, but also the emotions and meaning behind them. Super communicators listen to understand, not to reply, not to debate, but to genuinely absorb what's being shared. The trick? Stop thinking about your response. Instead, focus fully on the speaker. Watch their body language, the slight shifts in posture, the flickers of hesitation. Pick up on emotions, the changes in tone, the unspoken cues. And when they finish, pause. Let the silence hang. It creates space. It signals that you're truly engaged. And surprisingly, it makes people open up more. And here's where the magic happens. When people feel truly heard, they start sharing more. They drop their guard. They reveal what actually matters to them, not just surface-level thoughts. That's when you gain an advantage, because now, instead of reacting blindly, you can respond with precision. You can ask the right follow-up questions, address concerns before they escalate, and guide the conversation toward real understanding. It's not just about hearing words, it's about reading between the lines. And that's what separates good communicators from super communicators. They don't just listen. They listen so well that people walk away thinking, wow, they actually get me. Step 3. Ask open-ended questions. Want better conversations? Stop asking questions that lead to dead ends and short one-word answers. Instead, use open-ended questions that encourage deeper thinking and discussion. Instead of saying, how was your weekend? Ask, what was the best part of your weekend? Instead of, did you like the meeting? Ask, what was the most useful part for you? Or, Was there anything unexpected that stood out? See the difference? Open-ended questions unlock real conversations. They invite stories, opinions, and insights that keep discussions flowing naturally. They also show that you genuinely care about the other person's thoughts, making you instantly more engaging and enjoyable to talk to. Step 4. Validate emotions. Ever had someone dismiss how you feel? It's not a big deal. That kills connection and creates instant distance between people. When someone shares their emotions, they're not always looking for solutions. They just want to be understood. And when that validation is missing, it can make them feel unseen or unheard. Instead, use validation. Repeat back what they're feeling. Not in a robotic way, just show you get it. Acknowledge their emotions before jumping into solutions or advice. Here are a few examples. That sounds frustrating. I can see why that would be tough. I'd be annoyed too if that happened to me. That makes total sense. I completely understand why you feel that way. This small shift makes people feel heard instantly. And when people feel heard, they open up more, trust you more, and communication flows effortlessly. Step 5. Use the loop of understanding. Super-communicators don't just assume they understand, they verify. Because assumptions create misunderstandings, and misunderstandings derail conversations fast. Here's the move. Summarize what they said, then check if you got it right. This simple technique keeps conversations clear, eliminates confusion, and builds instant trust. An example would be, so what I'm hearing is, you're concerned about X, but you're hopeful about Y. Does that sound right? This does two things. It clarifies meaning. If you misunderstood something, they'll correct you on the spot, preventing misalignment. It makes the other person feel heard. When people feel understood, they engage more openly and trust you more. And here's the hidden benefit. People will actually respect you more for making the effort to verify their thoughts instead of assuming. If you missed something, no problem. They'll fill in the gaps. If you got it right, they'll trust you more. Either way, you win. So, if you want to communicate at the highest level, it's not about saying more. It's about saying the right things and truly understanding the other person. But communication is just one piece of the puzzle. If you want to gain an unfair advantage in life, whether in relationships, business, or personal growth, you need a repeatable system for making daily progress. And that's exactly what the 1% Edge gives you. This ebook breaks down 100 proven strategies from the world's top thinkers into small, actionable steps that compound over time. No fluff, no overwhelm, just real progress, one small win at a time. If you're serious about leveling up, click the link in the description and take the first step. When you make 1% improvements daily, everything changes. Now let's recap the Super-Communicator framework. 1. Identify the conversation type. 2. Listen to understand. 3. Ask better, deeper questions. 4. Validate emotions. 5. Use the loop of understanding. If this helped you, hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Thanks for watching.